Hi guys, welcome to Pageant Professors. I'm Prita and this is Nicole, and today we're talking about something that is extremely important, and it is how to be a good roommate. If you haven't competed before, maybe you have, oftentimes when you're at a state or national pageant, you are paired up with a roommate. So Allie wrote a fantastic article on how to make the most of your experience with a roommate and how to be a great support system for yourself and for them.
Absolutely, and I think it'll give us an opportunity because I think Prita and I, at least I think, we'll be roomies at Miss International this year. So I think it'll give us an opportunity to chat and just get some details squared away about our weekends. You know, no better time than right now to do it.
Pressure. So one of Allie's fantastic suggestions, and we have to say that Allie doesn't just write. I mean, she does this. She just competed for Mrs. Arizona, and she totally was like the sweet. I mean, I've heard from her, she was the sweetest roommate.
Yeah,
but
I love to room with Allie.
One of the great things, Allie's such a great hostess, period. But one of the things that she did to kind of break the ice was started off on the right foot with she got her roommate a little gift, a little present. And this can be something, I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have, but just a little, let's get off on the right foot. Here is a good luck card, or here's a cute little makeup case, something small, but that is a great sign of the friendship that can come from it.
Absolutely, I love that. And I was, the first night that we were at Mrs. Arizona, actually bunked with her and her roommate. So I saw the actual cards that Allie was giving not only her roommate, but the rest of the contestants. And I just thought it was a really sweet touch. So it doesn't surprise me that she won Miss Congeniality.
Of course, of course.
Because she is really considerate, and I think it just, you'll be spending a week or, a weekend with these young women, and I think it just really sets everyone on a great foot, and just builds on the friendship that might not be there yet.
Right. No, and for anybody that has, maybe if you're in college and you have a dorm mate, or if you lived with somebody else, you know that you're spending so much time with this person as your housemate or your roommate that it can go either way. You can either hate the experience because you guys don't like each other, or you can try to make the best of the time that you have. And this is such a great peace offering right off the bat, because a lot of times, and Allie talks about this in her article, it's so important, is that even though you're competing in the same pageant, you're not competing against each other necessarily. The judges are looking for what the judges are looking for, and it doesn't mean that someone else has to do bad for you to do well.
Right.
So coming into meeting your roommate and thinking of them as competition is not a good way to go into it. Think of them as a potential friendship. I mean, we all would have never met if it hadn't been for Maryland, USA, and the bonds that we made while we were competing together.
Right.
So, speaking of number one,
yes, my
size is a small. I like pink. So, whatever gifts you're planning on getting me, make them good.
Rhinestones,
earrings, anything. Yeah,
got it.
So make it good. Now that I know you know all the tips, I'm expecting something. You cannot show up and pretend like you didn't know.
And likewise, you are filming this video with me, so there's no excuse. No excuse. So, the second guideline she gave us was to discuss bedtimes, shower times. Someone might prefer to take a shower in the evening. Right. Both of you might want to take showers in the mornings, and you really want to square away those details right off the bat.
Right. It might seem like such a silly little thing, but during pageant weekends or pageant week, there's so much going on. There's events, there's rehearsal, there's all kinds of stuff. So, and then there's last minute prep. I mean, I once had a roommate that she was very nice, but we didn't talk a lot, and she wanted to work out, and there's not a lot of room. I mean, a lot of times the pageant's a buddy system, so if your roommate is in the room, you have to be in the room. Yeah. So she was doing sit-ups at 1 a.m. and I was trying to sleep, but she had her lights on, she had her I think at the time it was, might have been an iPod, maybe it was a Discman. I don't want to date myself.
Discman.
Well, whatever. The point is that I could hear it. It was all, and it takes away from I was grumpy the next day. I got my beauty sleep. Yeah. So if you have those discussions ahead of time, if you have the bedtime discussion, I think it saves a lot of heartache from both ends, and just make sure that you're courteous.
Yeah. Well, I like to get to bed early, and I know that you're a little bit of a night owl, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that there's ways to do it. I mean, I think I'm a night owl, so I would go into the bathroom, close the door, try not to make a lot of noise. But if I was doing things like applying self-tanner or bleaching eyebrows or whatever it was, instead of having the light on in the bedroom and waking up my roommate, you want to make sure that you're being as courteous as you possibly can.
Yeah. I would appreciate that. Just leave your nighttime activities to the hallway.
I'll be on the
bathroom.
I'll be on the phone calling Allie, talking as loud as I possibly can next.
About your awesome roommate.
Right.
You want to be best friends with?
Yeah, best friends. How the professors will be.
So the third tip she had was dividing the space evenly. You and I were both sharing a room at Mrs. Arizona America when we went to see Allie. Wasn't it difficult? I'm so difficult. But it was a fairly large space, and so you want to have enough space for you, for your items, and have enough space for mine. I think it's just common courtesy to not take over the whole living area with your shoes or your gowns that are hanging up everywhere, because as much stuff as you have, I have the same amount of things.
Right. I mean, it can be chaos during pageant week or weekend, so you want to make sure that you're able to. Even if you're normally, I'm kind of messy a little bit at home. My stuff is everywhere.
Super organized. Like I know where everything is.
Oh yeah. And I try my best, knowing that she's very organized, to try and at least fake being organized for those couple days.
I think it'll help you out.
Yeah, it does. Well, it makes. Whereas I would just like throw my earrings on the thing. I'm just like, oh, let me put them back where they belong. But well, and to your point about being organized. With everything going on, the last thing you want is to not be able to find an earring or not be able to find a shoe or mix them up because you just threw them on the counter and in a rush someone put them in their bag. Yeah. So it really helps you as well, not just from a courtesy standpoint, but to stay organized, to keep your things together and to make sure that you're ready for what's coming up for the rest of the weekend. But if you're organized, divide up the space evenly, there's no confusion, things don't get lost and whatnot.
Yeah. Next is generally support each other. That's not going to be a problem between you and I because we're friends, and I really want you to do well, and I want me, to do well also. And like you said, you're not really competing with the other person. You are competing to be your best self, and that's really so key.
It is.
In just maintaining a positive frame of mind, because it's so easy to get caught up in the competition and to analyze what everyone's doing when really it's just detracting from the focus, which should be yourself.
Right, and there is so much pressure, there's a lot of tension, you've worked so hard to get to this point, so obviously you want a great outcome, but the friendships, you really should go into it looking as a possible friend.
Definitely.
You obviously have something in common, you're both doing this important or wonderful competition, so there's already that established between the two of you, but if you're going in and you're being supportive, building on a friendship, that person probably needs the support just as much as you are. They're nervous, they're thinking about their performance, you're thinking about yours. It's really an opportunity to build a relationship there and to have someone cheering you on, even if maybe you don't know anyone else. I had at Maryland's USA the sweetest roommate, Mandy, and we still keep in touch. She was a doll, but it was... I had a pair of swimsuit earrings that were nice, and it turned out she had a pair that was even better, and so she lent me hers, and awesome. I lent her my earrings that she needed. I mean, it's really an opportunity there too to build a relationship that if something goes wrong, you have a friend who you're living with for this week that can have your back, and you should have theirs as well. So don't underestimate the possibility to have just a built-in support system with someone who's going through it with you.
Because you're going to need it.
You are going to need it.
You're going to need it. My roommate at Miss Maryland USA 2009 was a sweetheart, and since you gave Mandy a shout out, I've got to say hi to Raven. She is
we love Raven.
Such a doll. I think she's finishing law school now, but like you said, you keep in touch, your friends, the pageant community is so small, you never know when you're going to run into that person again, and I don't know, you just want to be friends and to support each other. I mean, that's really all it comes down to.
Right. I mean, you're so busy during that week. Obviously, you have friends and family that are in the audience, but A, it's maybe hard to connect with them, and B, they're not going through it right then, so they might not understand how nervous or how nerve-wracking it was or what's going through your head, whereas your pageant roomie was right there. They did the same thing you did. So they probably have some of the same concerns or the same worries that you do. So you're able to kind of talk each other off the ledge.
Definitely.
Or encourage each other. We would practice, Mandy and I would practice our pageant questions, our onstage questions.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, when we had a little bit of time before bed, I'd quiz her, she'd quiz me. And we were able to give some honest feedback to each other, which I think did really well. And she made the top 5, so I was able to cheer her on even once my spot was over. You know, I was rooting for her all the way. So you build those relationships that are so key.
That's really fun. And you know, speaking of key things, communication is just key. I know that sometimes I snore.
I didn't know that.
Really? Well, now you know. And now everyone else knows. But it's very rare. But you know, in the chance that you are really, you know, soft sleeper and you get woken easily, just gonna tell you out front that sometimes I snore.
All right, just bring earplugs. I might have already.
I'll bring them in your
in my
roommate bag.
But it is so true. I mean, a lot of times, so many problems can be solved with just communication.
Exactly.
Instead of holding it in, and it doesn't mean that you have to be nasty about it or upset, because obviously you're there to compete just as much as they are.
Yeah.
But if you just very politely communicate concerns or whatever's going on, that goes a long way and can really change the entire tone of the relationship.
Definitely.
But again, I think if you go into it looking at it as a friendship, we've all had good and bad pageant roommates, and I think the thing that's really set it apart has been just the attitude going into it on both sides. So it's contagious. If you're nice, kindness is contagious. If you go in and you're sweet and you're nice, who's not going to reciprocate that?
Exactly.
But if you come in very negative and Debbie Downer and just it's a competition and I'm not here to make friends, which we've heard a lot.
Yeah.
But friends are great. I mean, yes, it's a competition. Why not go there and also make friends?
Well, again, and Allie always says, you know, there's only going to be one winner, and you don't know who it's going to be going into it, but you might as well be making friends while you're all going through the experience.
Exactly. So those are just a couple of the suggestions that Allie came up with. Like we said, she lives this and does this every day. She's the best host. So we're glad that we were able to pass on her suggestions to you. And hopefully you can make some great pageant relationships using some of her advice.
Definitely.
Let us know if you had good pageant experience or pageant roommate experiences, good, bad, and different. Tell us. We want to hear about it. Leave comments in the box below.
Did you know that there are some really common mistakes that girls make during the evening gown portion of their competition? Click on the link in the description below and you'll be taken to our website for a free 30-minute long training course. By the end of it, you'll learn how to avoid these common mistakes and master the evening gown portion of your competition today.